Okay. It's probably time for Terrence Popp's newest conspiracy-filled Chud rant. Remember before January 6th when Terrence made a video about Civil War and then he went to DC on January 6th and then he immediately deleted that video after the riot happened? That was fun. Let's see what he has to say now.
Be persecutions. Now, we're already seeing this. Like I said, there's going to be persecutions. Now, we're already seeing this with big tech. They did it to Trump, and they're...
Trump broke their TOS. What are you talking about? He promoted endlessly conspiracy theories, not to mention all the other times he broke Twitter TOS. He was given so much leeway over the past 4 years. If he was anyone but the president, he would have been removed far sooner for far less.
They're basically going down the list from him, and they're kicking a lot of these people off of the big platforms. They're getting locked out. There's even talk that, banks are shutting down and not allowing Trump to do banking
which is amazing.
And what have you. That should scare the shit out of a lot of people there, because once they could do it to him and people of up at that latitude, they could just go right down the list.
I'm pretty sure any bank can choose not to do business with you for any reason anyway. Don't promote terrorism and you'll be fine.
Next thing you know,
which is difficult for Terrence because that is part of his business model, but nonetheless.
Have nowhere to cash your checks. No one's taking your money, and
you can cash checks at a variety of places that aren't banks. It costs money, unfortunately, but there are check cashing businesses you could go to.
And you're living in the street. Alright, everybody, Terrence Popp here with another episode of Live from the Lair. Alright, now if you guys have been following a lot of our live streams that we've been doing.
Terrence isn't looking the healthiest since Biden got inaugurated. That's a shame. He looks like he's having a really bad time.
We're talking about the craziness that took place during the massive ice cream social that had after hours serving of alcohol, which resulted in the installment of the next stunning and brave president and vice president.
I am so confused by what he is trying to say. What? Fine.
Now, there was a whole lot of lawsuits thrown around,
and they all got dismissed.
A lot of said judges turned their backs on these lawsuits.
They appropriately dismissed them because they either had no evidence, no standing, or a variety of multiple factors that made them untenable for the court. Trump lost. Of course the cases got thrown out. They were ridiculous. Many of the judges that decided on these cases weren't just Republican judges. They were also Trump appointees. If your own appointees tell you this lawsuit is baseless, guess what? That's a baseless lawsuit.
And there's a couple of these were brought up by Texas against other states.
Yeah, he sounds drunk. He gets drunk a lot in these videos. I think before this one he got drunker than usual.
In the union for not following their state constitutions and the federal constitution. And the Supreme Court of the land stated Texas had no standing. Now,
because they didn't, because they were trying to say, like, I get to decide if Pennsylvania's, like, constitution is being carried out appropriately, and Texas has no say in that.
With that being said, you would figure if one state has a problem with another state, that if they filed a lawsuit that in our union they would have standing.
They didn't, as it turns out. At least that's what the Supreme Court ruled.
Now this is going to come back to bite the country in the ass. And I don't know exactly how this is going to unfold.
Someone asks, this isn't still at 0.75. Oh, it's Baja. Baja asks, this isn't still at 0.75 speed right now. He's just drunk. This is at normal speed, I promise.
I have seen pieces of this, and I have, I've talked about this in my past zombie apocalypse episodes. You can see those on Alt Tech. We pulled them off of YouTube because they were glorifying violence. I don't have the full picture. I just have snapshots. And I'm going to walk you through what I have so far. And it might seem a little disjointed. I can't paint the whole picture.
For the record, this is edited, which means after he filmed this, he sobered up and edited this and decided, this is good. I should put this out. That's not good. I've been there years ago when I was like, I only stopped drinking like 3-something months ago, right? But there were periods where I was like a really, really bad alcoholic, even worse than I was, more recently, like 3 months ago or so. But there was a time when there's video of this, I think, on the Hannah and Jake channel from years ago, where I got really drunk on one video where we're doing a review of, God, whose was it? Banana Man. What's his name? I'm forgetting his name now. Ray Comfort. I was reviewing a Ray Comfort movie and got really drunk during that because we were doing a bit where we would drink during the thing. We were doing like a fake drinking game, I think, but it was real. I mean, it was a real drinking game. We were drinking on thing, and then I continued to drink after we were done recording, and then we came back later that night to record like a promo for that video, and I was trashed. I was absolutely trashed. It was so bad. What's your at that point? Yeah, you need some help. You need some help. I've been there. I know how that is.
I don't have all the information,
I will speed this up because it's pretty bad. I'll try 1.25 and see how it is, and then if it's still not good, we can go to 1.5.
Can only give you portions of it. Maybe somebody out there can fill in the rest. I don't know.
Buy How Not to Become a Millennial and learn how to succeed in life. Or not. End of commercial.
How Not to Become a Millennial is the perfect gift to pour salt in the regret-filled wounds of Biden voters, because unemployment gives them plenty of time to catch up on all the reading they should have done before voting Democrat. A link is in the description.
All right, so what...
Do these people know millennials are in their mid-30s? Do they mean Zoomers?
we have going on now? And
yeah, you're either a millennial or you're not. It's an age-based thing. It's not a behavior determinant thing.
it's been going on for roughly 20 years. It's the slow division between the left and the right within the United States. All right, now.
Boy, when did Fox News become a thing? The 90s? $1996. Whew! And the country's been being divided for like 20 years? Gee, I wonder what happened.
Now, all we have left now is a little bit in the middle that need to pick a side, and that is going to happen in the near future with what the new president is going to do economically for this nation. He's already started off on a bad foot. He's shutting down all of the stuff that Trump had put in place that gave us the economy we had before the false EIU scares out there.
He's being COVID denier. He's trying to do a code for he's a COVID denier. Cool.
That's the coup for the Hong Kong sniffles or whatever you want to call it.
We're up to 442,000 people dead in the United States from COVID. Stop making fun of it like it's a joke. It's not. We're going to be over 500,000 dead soon.
Because the truth is out there, and all you have to do is open your eyes in regards to that. If this was so dangerous and deadly, the homeless population out there would no longer exist. What?
Because homeless people often interact with people in close quarters? What are you talking about?
But they're virtually unaffected.
How many statistics do you think are accurately being done of homeless people in the United States and COVID rates right now? Probably not much, because people with money who fund research don't tend to give a shit about homeless people.
I've already done a whole bunch of episodes where I talked about that, but that plays in here. Okay, now, like I said in my live stream, if you have individuals in your life who are of the liberal mindsets, they're basically no longer classic liberals. They're socialists / communists.
Oh, God.
And for your own peace
I really want to ask Terrence, what's the difference between socialism and communism? Define both for me, please.
of mind, you need to cut them away, or at least keep them at a comfortable arm's distance.
Oh, it's a really good idea to socially isolate yourself from people. That's not how cults work at all.
And it doesn't matter if they're within your immediate family or even if you're married to one of them. It's just the way it is. Because the conflict that lies before us is going to be incredibly vicious, brutal, and personal. Now, I hope it doesn't happen. I'm just telling you what I see. A lot of you out there are probably, Pop, you crazy, what you talking about? Yeah. Listen, I've studied history. 100% of all governments that have ever existed have gone off the rail if given enough time. And we are there. Unless somebody does some changes up there, this train is going to go off the tracks in the next turn. It's.
I just want to point out that this guy had a bad divorce some years ago, and he's gone so off the deep end that he thinks his bad divorce somehow is indicative of society failing, which led him to the MGTOW stuff. And now he's been so radicalized by other people on the internet that he thinks that civil war is imminent.
We've got too much speed. There's too much instability. The next bank in the tracks, and we're off in the woods, and it's going to be ugly. So we have the division going on. All right, now you have big tech piling on top of this division. You have cries going out for the Trump supporters to be put in camps, and they're
no one is telling. Who is calling for MAGA supporters to be put in camps? What are you talking about?
Be retribution for what they did, even though they didn't really do anything to anyone. Nobody was killed. Nobody was put in camps.
All we tried to do was take over the government. Why is everyone so mean to us? 5 people died and we tried to murder Congress people, but boys will be boys, am I right?
In fact, people were employed at record numbers. And if you look back prior to Nazi Germany coming into power and Stalin, a lot of the same rhetoric was being tossed around, okay? So just keep that in mind. Like I said, there's going to be persecutions. Now, we're already seeing this with big tech. They did it to Trump, and they're basically...
Banning my Twitter account is literally the same as having to hide in an attic from Nazis.
Going down the list from him, and they're kicking a lot of these people off of the big platforms, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, so forth. They're getting locked out. There's even talk that banks are shutting down and not allowing Trump to do banking and what have you. That should scare the shit out of a lot of people there, because once they could do it to him and people up at that latitude, they could just go right down the list.
He's a terrible creditor. Creditor? Is that what you call someone who takes out credit? He owes the banks money, and once he pays, they're closing out his personal accounts, and then when he pays off their debt, they're not going to do business with him anymore because he's shitty. It's pretty simple.
Next thing you know, you have nowhere to cash your checks, no one's taking your money, and you're living in the street. Okay.
Yes, I'm sure Donald Trump will be living in the street very soon, and no one will cash a check. That's a reasonable position and not at all crazy.
And where did that happen before? Oh, that's right. They did that to the Jewish population just as things were ramping up before World War II in Germany.
Is Trump an ethnic group? Or is he... Sorry. Is Trump an ethnic group, or is Trump an individual who committed many, many crimes? It's that one.
So we have this persecution in the media. You're going to see law enforcement start cracking down on these individuals as well. Banking, etc., you name it. And it's going to be effective for a while. Okay, it's just a matter of time before the right does their own thing. You know, right now they're handicapped and they're behind the power curve, but you will see that start to develop. You know, it's already taken place. So I don't know exactly what that is going to entail. My sources haven't given me any information other than the fact that
his sources are QAnon bullshit, by the way. He never has said QAnon, but very specifically in his other videos that are like this, where he's in front of the whiteboard talking about conspiracy stuff, he has specifically brought up QAnon talking points before. So whether he knows it or not, maybe he doesn't. Maybe he's getting these from some other Facebook group or some other page that doesn't even know that these are QAnon claims, but he parrots a lot of QAnon stuff.
There are competitors for YouTube coming, they're coming into play. And there are companies out there that are starting to offer cell phones and products which are de-Googled and de-Appled, which I highly recommend that everyone out there do. You're going to see economic policies. They're going to implement this Green New Deal thing, and it's going.
That'd be nice. I'm kind of doubting Biden will do it, and I doubt the Senate's going to end up doing it, but we'll see, I guess.
Going to radically cripple the country. This is bad.
Oh no!
In the beginning.
Providing people jobs in the clean energy sector. The horror!
And I'm going to explain to you why. These policies are designed to basically the downfall of the middle class, impoverish most people, and seize the methods of production.
They're just going to sneak that in the last line of the Green New Deal. Also, seize the means of production, comrades. Communism, totes. Hello, classless, stateless society. We wrote it in a bill and that makes it true.
And they're going to hide all of this behind the message. They're doing it, all for the good. It's for the best. Everyone, this is going to help everyone. They always do this. It didn't work in Venezuela, and it's not going to work here. And when this happens, when this really gets into full swing, and people are losing, all of the money that they've ever saved, and they're getting property seized, and
Terrence, that's already happening. We have record new evictions and stuff. People not being able to afford rent on their apartments, stuff like that, because of COVID. Because Trump did such a bad job with COVID that it's destroyed the economy.
And a lot of people are like, that's not going to happen here, Pop. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope I am wrong. But my gut is telling me something
Good news, Terrence. You're wrong.
else here. You're going to see. This is going to ramp up over the next 18 months. You're going to see big tech.
You can post links. Yeah.
Actually partnering with.
I'm going to vet them before I, show them on stream, but you can post them.
Law enforcement and the alphabet agencies,
okay.
and this tracking is going to go through the goddamn roof. Cell phone, computers, the whole deal. Literally, it's going to get to the point where, you have a cell phone number, they plug it in, they're going to know your MAC address, they're going to be able to see where you walked around in your city and where you drove.
That's already a thing they can do, Terrence. Do you not know how phones work? They can already do that. If they want to, they can. You think that's new?
At any given moment, 24/7, 365. This is exactly what we have going on here. That's why it's imperative to de-Apple and de-Google. All right, now, this is all going to crescendo to a breaking point here. I don't know what this breaking point is. I don't know. I thought maybe we'd have a breaking point when we saw the stunning and brave thing that took place in November basically looked like something that takes place in a banana republic. This is the United fucking States of...
What? Trump losing the election fairly? I guess you should probably stop listening to news sources that are, news sources that are lying to you about election fraud.
America, which is now basically well on its way into becoming a banana republic. All right, so I don't know what the breaking point is, what it's going to take for there to be, any type of organized resistance to this craziness.
Yes, FBI, this video right here.
Over to the other board here. All right, now I'm sorry if I'm rambling on here, but a lot of this is just.
It might I don't know. I don't know if it would maybe behoove anyone to know that there's an FBI tip line on the internet that you could send things to. So I don't know if that's random information anyone needs, but you know.
I'm just trying to put together the pieces out there, and I don't have the
just a
full
complete
picture,
non
so,
sequitur. It's nothing to
you
do
guys
with this
think I'm
video.
what you're talking about? Yeah, listen, I got it. Just hear me out here. All right, now once you get to this breaking point, you're going to see states withdraw from the union. I personally think, in my opinion, the first state is going to pull out is going to be Texas. Once that happens, you're going to have hyper division going on.
Yeah, they how do I put this? By the way, Cast Iron Pan, new stream boss, nice. It's illegal to secede from the union unilaterally like that. And the United States would never let them do so via agreement. And I understand that practically speaking, they could theoretically cut off access to the feds and everything. But, like, do you really think the United States is going to let Texas take all the federal property that exists in Texas, both in terms of land? Let's look at federal lands in Texas. Federal lands in Texas. So this is federal public land surface. There's like, you know, a decent amount in Texas. Not as much as there is on the West Coast, obviously. But, you know, there's federal land. I would imagine there's military installations and hardware that's in Texas. Do you think the federal government is going to let Texas just decide, yoink, this is all mine? It would not go well. Secession from the United States historically goes very badly for the people who secede. We had a whole war over this. It ended very badly. So let's just skip to the end and say, no, you're not going to secede. Stop being big babies about the fact that Trump lost.
Now, during the first Civil War of the United States, in the very beginning, when the states seceded, you know, people from all over the country and people who were in the military, whatever, you know, they left. They went back to their home.
Yeah, and all the ports and everything. Texas is too valuable for the United States to let that one go. Not going to happen.
Home states, and then shortly thereafter organized.
It would be bad for Texas and everyone. Yeah, you're right. It would be terrible. It would be terrible for everyone involved. Why spread needless bloodshed and just turmoil for people over something that you're not even going to succeed? So stupid.
You know, things ensued. I don't know what this is going to look like. I really don't. I know that the violence, if it does take place, which I hope it doesn't, there'll be direct and indirect, craziness going on. And it will involve the world directly and indirectly in all shapes and forms, because the United States touches every nation on the planet. We give huge sums of money for reasons I don't even know why to virtually every country on the planet. And
yeah, it's foreign aid. It helps with United States global hegemony. It creates, a need for the United States by these other countries, and it has them play nice with the United States as often as possible. It's basically soft power is how it's often described. Yeah.
When this gets to this point, that's all going to stop. And all of those countries that were, enjoying, the sweet nectar from our taxpayers, which we don't have any say in, that's going to come to an end. And indirectly, a lot of countries are going to suffer. And quite frankly, I don't give a fuck.
Wow, tell us how you really think, Terrence. Jesus Christ.
I think you're going to have Texas, Louisiana, Florida, Mississippi are going to be the first ones. And then as time progresses...
Wow. All the powerhouses of terrible education. That should go well.
Progresses and things get really crazy. Somewhere in this equation, the numbers 36 and 38 come into play. I don't know exactly what those numbers mean, but they keep popping up in my brain pan.
What? This is like an Always Sunny in Philadelphia bit where Charlie's like, I don't know what these mean, but they keep popping into my brain. What? Now just numerology on the bingo card. What the fuck?
So I don't know if it's 36 or 38 states. I don't know if it's battle. I don't know what it is.
Is he literally just like is he hearing voices and he thinks he's hearing these numbers and he's like, yes, these are significant. That's not how anything works. Oh no, Terrence, you need to be medicated.
Just know that these numbers come into play here in the craziness that lays before us. Now, when this does take place, which I hope it doesn't, you're going to see all kinds of craziness come to pass. You're going to see unconventional warfare, and it's going to be something the world has never seen.
Hello? FBI? Yes, this is me on my gavel phone again. Terrence Popp is... Oh, you already saw it? Yeah. I was confused by the number thing, too. Oh. Okay. Yeah? No. He's very drunk. Okay. Good to know. Thank you. They're fine. They're gonna get to him, but they're not that concerned. Anyone with a blood alcohol level above 0.15, they just let that ride out. Usually solves itself.
Okay, they're gonna rewrite the books, about war based on what's going to happen, and it'll influence wars for hundreds of years, because this is going to get really bad in a monumental way. All right, you're going to start off with, as you have, the states withdrawal and you have the division going on, you're going to start to have, small conflicts, unconventional warfare in regards teams and squads and platoons and even companies doing their own thing. And that's, 3, 6, 9, 13, 30, 120-man groups doing their thing. You're going to have a lot of people making decisions on who to support and who not to support, who's going to try to remain neutral, who's not. Okay, and you're going to have sabotage going on. I've covered all of this already in some of my past videos. Basically what's going to happen is you're going to have a lot of these major cities decide they're going to go one way and do something. And you're going to see the smaller villages and towns and other cities and other counties say, you know what, we're not doing that. And it's going to be a lava lamp of destruction. I
honestly might, in my own time after the stream, report this to the FBI, because Terrence is scary as shit, and he's an actual, ex-military person. This should probably be looked into.
As the picture develops, I can't even convey exactly what that picture is going to look like, other than when it gets up to maximum, it's going to be bad. It's going to actually involve direct warfare, organized units and so forth, going at each other willy-nilly. You're going to have other countries getting involved. The UN's probably going to show up. At the very end of the whole thing, when 36 and 38, when these numbers come into play, you're going to see the United States come out the back end. And what that country looks like, I don't know, other than when it's all said and done, there's going to be a huge backlash. Huge backlash that may or may not, develop into an actual third world war. All right?
Oh my God!
There's going to be a lot of hurt feelings.
It's not even just Civil War II. It's World War III.
A lot of people pissed off at what took place inside the borders of the United States of America. And a lot of people who are going to wind up in charge are going to ask some very, very important questions. And then when they're done asking questions, they're going to start flipping buttons, picking up the phone, making phone calls. And you're going to see a lot of people in other countries disappear off the face of the earth. This is serious business.
He's talking the Turner Diaries? In what way? Is the 38 thing related to that? I mean, I know what the Turner Diaries is. I'm just saying, are you saying that the numbers are a reference to that in some way?
This is what's coming down the pipe. I hope I'm wrong. I hoped I can just write about this and turn it into some crazy goddamn novel that everyone reads about and goes, well, I'm glad that never happened. But I think we're in for a bumpy ride. You guys take it easy.
Yikerinos, Terrence. Yikes, yikes, yikes. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to report that to the FBI probably, so that's great.